and followers, so I'm still recovering from the flu somewhat, and so excuse my voice. So I've been trying to get this little MySQL Marinadb database to allow me to log into a database from a remote server for a long time. So the remote server is actually my Mac computer where I actually try and debug the program. The program is my stocks database, which I have open to the public, and it hasn't worked for a long time. Anyway, here's my SQL running, and you can take a look at that. Uh, so I've been having lots of trouble with this server logging me out, just automatically trashing my login. I'm not sure why it's doing this. It's really irritating, but anyway, I'm going to try and approximate back where I was. That's probably about where I was. And so now I'll log on to it. And if I don't keep the fingers moving on this thing, it just craps out. So this is my little server here, which I have MySQL running on, and my little program actually for the stocks. And so what this thing does is it'll gather stock info every day and then put it into a database and then allow people to search for stocks rising or falling, mostly rising. So MySQL is a database server, and you can see it's running here. But the trouble was I debugged this program from my Mac computer, so I don't use a Raspberry Pi, and this is indeed Linux on a Raspberry Pi. Anyway, let's figure out how to get this database listening so the Mac computer can attach remotely to it as a database user. So for that, we go to root, and I guess I don't have to go to root, but so there's a bunch of files here. Let's see that. They call it my.cnf, but I haven't found that file too useful for configuring out the database. I'm not sure why they have something here called alternatives, but if we jump into here, it's where the rubber meets the road. And in here, you'll see that there are a few files. Let's make the screen bigger. There, that's a little more useful. So anyway, in here, there's a few files, and I found the only file that really affects this Marinadb, which is MySQL of some flavor on the Raspberry Pi Raspberry operating system, is in this directory here. So jump into here, and I found that this file was the one that really matters in configuring the Marinadb slash MySQL server or instance. So you jump into this file, do an edit, and what worked for me was I changed this bind address from binding to the local host, which is this is the local host here, to binding to all zeros, which means bind it to any address, including the address on the outside that this server listens to. So that was one thing I had to do. And once that was done, I could see that I could connect to this thing, but then I was getting trashed out for a different reason. And that's because the user itself didn't allow the server to connect. So to fix that, that goes into the server, I'm sorry, the database. And from here, we can use the database end of day data, which is what I call it. Um, I think that'll work. Yeah. So these are all the different fields in my stocks thing here. And you can see that, I look at symbol exchange, open, low, high, low, volume prices, and all that crap. So that's what's in here. So anyway, let's let's see, my window's all screwed up here. There we go. Let's look at things that matter. So this thing just again disconnected me. I'm not sure why it does this. But at any rate, what I'm trying to get into this thing is a command to show you how to set the database user to allow connections from a certain server on a LAN. So I'm trying to get to that point. And this thing just trashed me again. Let's see. Close that. Yeah, I tried to fix that today. The auto logout problem or auto freeze, whatever it's doing. I can't figure out why I'm getting auto logged out or something. It doesn't make any sense. At any rate, it's not making for a good video, is it? Okay, get back on here. And I'm not sure why it's saying that again. Offending key. So when you get these offending keys, it usually means that you've changed something or the instance itself has changed. So I'm going to go into these keys and just knock out 101. Get rid of that. Now let's go back into that server, which is the Raspberry Pi. It's going to say, do you trust it? Yes. Okay, and I have keys running here. So with a key, I can log in automatically. And now I'm in. Database again. Use database. Now we're back where we were. So now I want to show one command here I was fiddling with. If I can find it. That I was using to allow any user to get in this thing, or at least here it is. So this command was pretty useful, and I don't want to show my username, but I will type the command in here. Of course, it's not working. Let's do it fast. And I can name this now, some username, and you want to say @ so I want to get it from some server name, and in my case I used my whole subnet. So and I'm just copying off this command off screen here and putting it back on here for you. Okay, so here I'm going to say anything on my subnet in my house, 191.161. Anything identified by, and you can put in your username, and then you could put in a password here, identified by, and actually this becomes the password, so I could just change this off to be some password. And then you could say with a grant. What does that say? With grant option. Okay. Databases are weird. And then this will do it. So with this command, then on this database, EUD data, which is what I use, you can put in some username here and the @ sign, and then you can put in your whole subnet and then identified by blah, 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 some password, and that'll work. So then as long as your program then has that same stuff in there programmatically, it'll go and you'll be able to connect. So that is what I did the last half an hour here. Figured that out, got it working. And I'm kind of marking this to myself as a video so that in the future when I need this, I have it somewhere. Anyway, probably not really too interesting to the ham radio community, but maybe to people that know MySQL. So the whole trick here is, yes, I want to connect from a server on my LAN to this database on this server, but not run the program on this server. The little server is a Raspberry Pi, and I simply do run the program that I'm debugging on this server, but I don't want to debug it on this server, so I'm running it externally from Eclipse IDE integrated development environment as a Python program. And so I'm trying to do it that way. We'll see how that works. I would show you the program, but I don't want to show the password. Maybe the password's not encoded in here. Is it? No, it's not in this part of it, so I could show it. Anyway, yeah, so here's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to debug this program, and so I'll start this program, and it'll bring in the data through this object. This is the part that actually puts the database into memory. And then I'll use Flask to export the program running. And this basically just puts out HTML. I do calculation of stocks rising, and I do this all from memory. So all these stocks in this database goes into the memory of the Raspberry Pi or the Linux system, and then we calculate from memory because that's a lot faster than calculating from a database. So that's how this works, and it's not rocket science. And as the days get more days involved, I just do more calculations. It's pretty simple. Price computations. And Flask has an odd way of keeping global variables in a cache. So all the globals are in this thing called a cache. And then I don't want to run this on certain holidays. So when I load this thing, I have to basically not take any holidays in. Anyway, I put this program on to GitHub if anybody cares about it. And it's under my name, Jeffffall, Jeffffall on GitHub. You can grab this program and improve it, fool with it, do whatever you want with it. So anyway, that's my stock program. And I've been having trouble running this from my home server, but I could run it on this thing. So now I'm running the program locally on my Mac computer, at least the front end of it. And that's it. So the main program is running. It runs port 5000. So if we then looked at the local host of this computer, of this Mac, I think I want to go this on port 5000. That thing should come up. No, I thought it was running on port 5000 here. Is it running or did it exit? I thought we were running here. I would think it's running. Localhost 5000 should be going here. I don't think we're on anything else. So I'm listening on any port 5000. Debug is off. That should be running fine on my Mac here. And I don't see anything. Any rate, so that's not working. Let's see. The program looks like it's not running now. So to run the program, I would hit this arrow and look at what happens on the bottom here. It will load from database first. And since the Raspberry Pi is so slow, This will take a lot of time to load up because the database on the Pi is very slow. So it looks like it's not working at all. I must have exceeded some memory or something. At any rate, I made this program as a note to myself, so I'm going to stop the program now and post it. But got more things to figure out. That's computer programming. That's the nature of the business. Okay, well there it goes. Look at that. It's starting to print out something here. So let's see if it finishes. It's grinding real slow with that database. If we jump onto the Raspberry Pi, let's see what kind of work's going on over there. You can use commands to debug Linux computers. Looks like I'm already there over here. It probably disconnected. Yeah, it did. I wonder if whatever is disconnecting this thing is just killing it, killing my program period. It's still working there. Anyway, there's a command over here called top. You can run on any Linux computer, and top will show you what's happening as far as process is running. And now you can see that the Marinadb is really cranking away at 36.5%. It looks like it is also trying to run the front end. Let's see. So maybe it is working on port 443. Now it's pulling in all the data. Let's see if it keeps running. I guess I'm not used to running it with the Mac. It should usually give me like a stop button here somewhere. I don't see the red stop button here, so I'm wondering if this is even running correctly. Okay, it's saying that memory loaded in 160 seconds, which I suppose isn't that bad. I think that means this thing's ready to serve now. It usually says that it's ready to go at the bottom here. So I wrote this program years ago, and I'm probably foggy now on how it works. But let's see if we can get to it now. I probably got videos how this worked years ago. Oh, that won't work. It's got to be HTTP. And that's not working. What if I say localhost like that? And I put in, nope. What if I put in the actual IP of the Mac computer, which is what? Let's figure out what that is. So the Mac computer is on Ethernet and it's on 229. So that's the actual Mac computer, 229. HTTP. Will that work? No, it won't work. All right, well, I got more work to do in debugging this thing. I'm not sure why I can't get it to run locally, but we'll figure it out. Long video, boring. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.